Let's pay Harry another visit and get to the bottom of all this.
And that one. And that one, too. All red seeds.
Welcome, York. The killings 50 years ago. There is something about it that you won't find written in those files. The people were attacking and killing each other, rampaging as though insane.
Quite a story.
York, I told you, it's nothing more than local folklore.
What does that all mean?
It's called The Legend of the New Raincoat Killer.
York, we found Thomas.
Zach, okay, so it's not bonus footage. It's still part of the main feature. Perpetrator is exactly who I thought it was.
Welcome back to Deadly Premonition. We are a child?
Dad? Dad?
Come on, boy, or it'll be too late.
We are a child who is following Dad with our short little legs. We're running, pat, 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 pat. But Dad, with his long legs, moves a bit faster than us. It doesn't seem quite fair. He wants us to keep up, but it's hard. Some red vines popping up behind us. Okay, so last time, York went through the Galaxy of Terror, found the secret room underneath the bar, found the locket. For whatever reason, he seems to think he knows who the killer is because he found the locket. Like I said, I still never really understood that. And then he was knocked out by old Thomas.
Dad?
Come on, boy, or it'll be too late.
Don't keep trying. Dad wants us to keep up with him. But as for what's happening right now in real life while York is dreaming this, I assume that he's, at this point, Thomas would be taking him from the Galaxy of Terror to the clock tower and tying him up in a chair. I suppose that's what's happening in the real world. And actually, we're at the beginning of a new episode, episode 4.
Dad?
Come on, boy, or it'll be too late.
And we did not get a cutscene of the present day with old York Zach telling young Emily a story. We haven't been getting a lot of those. There were more of them in the beginning of the game, it seems. The last one we got, I guess at the beginning of episode 3. Oh, Dad vanished. Dad's never there when we need him, I guess. At the beginning of episode 3, the only one thing we got was Emily was sitting on York Zach's lap.
Come on, boy, or it'll be too late.
And we saw that he had kept a red sapling, I guess, as a memento, which seems like a weird decision. But we haven't seen anything from that period of time since then. So we were getting more of those in the beginning of the game, but as the game's gone on, we've not been getting a lot of those. Because remember, this is a story that's being told to a little girl. A story about several brutal murders.
Dad? Dad?
Come on, boy, or it'll be too late.
Daddy? 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 Are you okay?
here for someone, aren't you?
The person you are waiting for will be here soon.
That room is getting real crowded.
Grandpa, wake up!
Oh, okay, here we go.
Grandpa, hey!
Oh, Emily. Sorry, my dear, I must have fallen asleep.
That's enough napping for today. Tell me the rest of the story.
Yes, of course. That was our promise, wasn't it? Before I continue on, though, I've got a little gift I want to give you.
Wow. It's pretty.
Consider it a protective charm, like a signpost. It will help to lead you through your life.
A signpost?
One day, my dear, you will find out one of the truths of this world. That the world is filled with contradiction and inequality. When that day comes, how you respond, what you do, that will be the instant that determines the value of your life. This pendant will show you the way in that moment.
The value of my life?
Yes, dear, the value of your life. I have faith that you will grow up into a woman who can make the right choices. Do you understand, Emily?
I don't know. That charm didn't seem to help out Emily a whole lot. Because that was the charm that Emily showed York in the bar, if you remember.
We come toward the climax. As the angels said, I was soon fated to meet him. What do you think of those dreams, Zach? So I do care for Emily. What about you?
We should take this opportunity and talk about this a bit.
If I hadn't seen York come into the bar, well, you wouldn't have found this place, would you? Now, how about that? I guess I've always been lucky when luck was needed. That's why I've been able to stay in business, too. Although we have Willie to thank for finding this room, I suppose. He's got a great nose. Clever, too. He'd be a great businessman if he wanted to be. I owed you guys one anyway, and I owed York big time, too. You guys didn't tell anyone about that whole thing with Diane. I want to help you guys out. Is there anything I can do?
Kaysen, I appreciate the offer. But this is a police matter. You can leave everything to us from here.
Oh, well, okay.
George, look. These cigarettes. They're the same brand that York smokes. He's definitely been here.
Carol's been missing since the bar closed last night. This town will be deserted if this keeps up.
What do you think is really happening here in Greenvale?
Emily, let's focus on looking for York. I just hope there are more leads than a cigarette butt around here.
Hey, Willie, of course! You can track his scent, can't you, boy? What do you think, officers? Let him help you out, why don't you? Oh, he'd make a fine police dog.
I told you we don't need...
Sounds good, Kaysen. We need all the help we can get. Come on, George, let's let them help us.
But they are civilians.
Do you have a better plan? As we speak, York might be...
All right. Let's have them help.
Thank you, George.
But one thing. With York missing in action, I'm back in charge. And York would give me hell if something bad happened to you guys. So promise me you'll call for backup at the first sign of danger.
Yes, of course.
I think we're missing something here. So I'm going to look around a bit longer. You go with Kaysen and follow York's trail.
Thank you, George. We're counting on you, boy. Welcome to the force, Deputy Willie.
Let's get rolling then.
Okay, I'm counting on you, Willie.
Oh, not counting on me, though, are you? Sheesh.
All right, let's get going with the rarely heard Emily's theme. You know, I wonder how much of that conversation in that basement was being acted because of Emily's presence. You figure that conversation would have been very different between George and Kaysen if Emily wasn't there.
Hey, where are you going? Deputy Willie, he's over here. Come on, hurry!
Oh, am I not paying attention, Deputy Willie? No, he was right over there. I'm not sure why Kaysen whistled me down. And I wonder if George would have been annoyed at Kaysen for bringing them to that room. Kaysen, what are you doing? She's not supposed to know about the room. The room's supposed to be... It's a secret bondage room, Kaysen. Look at the leather and the handcuffs and the whips. It's a secret bondage room. No one's supposed to know about the bondage room. Why did you bring us to the bondage room? Of course I knew about the bondage room, Kaysen. It's my bondage room. Emily's not supposed to know about it. He did seem pretty annoyed when he said, Kaysen, this is a police matter. You shouldn't be helping in this. Deputy Willie? Okay, there we go. Oh, Linvisible Street. Yes, we're at the intersection of Ripper and Linvisible.
He can be a little selfish, but he's a good dog. He stayed with me all this time, through all the good and the bad.
How long have you been together?
Oh, we go back a long time. I can't even remember a time when he wasn't around.
I had a dog when I was small, too. He was a beagle, so we named him B. Stupid name, I know. He hated being left alone and always followed me around. I could tell him anything, even things I couldn't tell my parents. He'd look into my eyes and listen intently to anything I had to say. It's like he sympathized, and he didn't make fun of me. He would just listen. When I was done talking, he'd put a paw on my thigh. My worries just faded away when he did that. Made me feel like I was just a fool for worrying so much. Dogs are great that way.
Oh, yeah. Sometimes I think they got a lot more wisdom than us humans. Even if they are betrayed, well, they don't see it that way. Sure sounds foolish, but you know dogs, why, they're always happy. I'm positive that even if man perishes off the face of the earth, dogs, why, they'll just carry on, regardless. They see everything, you know. From their dog houses, they look out and they see what humans do.
Kaysen.
Oh, look, Deputy Willie's calling for us. He's always like that. Let's get back to the chase.
Then again, maybe George knew. Well, maybe George is the reason that Kaysen came. Maybe he asked Kaysen to go to the room and bring George and Emily there. Because thinking about the plan, Emily is supposed to go to the clock tower to have the fight with Thomas. Like that is what the plan is. Thomas knows that Emily is coming. Hold on. Oh, speaking of which,
Thomas, I know that you're there. Your disposition is not of my concern. But you do need to stop this. Untie me. Let me go. Right now. And you and Carol should take off. Go as far away as you can. Open a bar or a diner in a new town. With your cooking, I know you do well.
Why, thank you, York. You're so kind. Unlike him.
If I had someone like you, things may not have come to this.
York, have you ever been in love with someone?
Thomas, a long time ago, I witnessed two people that I really cared about die. Both pretty much at the same time. And since then, I've tried not to care about anyone so deeply, but recently that way of thinking has changed.
Emily, right? She's a nice girl.
But I must warn you, York, you'd be better off not falling in love with her.
Thomas, considering the circumstances, whatever I say might not be important to you, but I'll say it anyways. Don't you dare touch Emily.
York, I think I've said too much.
It's natural to respond when someone talks to you, I guess. Everything will end tonight. You just stay there until then.
right, so Thomas knows that Emily is coming. So I guess this probably was George's plan to find a reason to get Emily to go to the clock tower. Maybe George got Kaysen to come with Willie and said, "Oh, Willie's gonna pick up York's scent. He's gonna be able to find him." And then take her to the clock tower to have the gunfight with Thomas. So maybe that was the plan. Yeah? Deputy Willie? Deputy? Okay. Oh yeah, we'd have a few seconds to save if we want, then some red vines appear in front of the save point.
What's wrong? Something's bothering you.
Oh no, it's just... I promised to have tea with Polly. I just remembered.
What's that got to do with anything?
Yep, you're right. This just isn't the time, I know. But she reminds me of my mother who passed away.
Kaysen.
I've been a salesman for a long, long time. I never had time to talk with my mother, you know. Sales, they were the thing for me. No matter what happened, this was more important. So even when she was sick, I put more energy into my work, which I regret now. And you know, when I heard she died, I was on my way home, all happy. I closed a big deal in Jersey. Just when you want to give something back, you got no one to give it back to. Well, that's when I met her, Polly. I thought heaven had given me another chance. I really did. So I always stay in that hotel whenever I come up here. Oh, sure, the rooms are great, but in all honesty, I go there because I want to talk with Polly.
Does Polly know all this?
No way. I'd never say anything so embarrassing to her. She'd think I've got some crazy mother complex or something. Right, let's get going. Deputy Willie disapproves of any chit-chat. I'll make it up to Polly some other time, I guess.
You know, Kaysen really does, he really is remarkably human, considering he's like some kind of otherworldly Shoggoth wearing a human body. Like, he has a good understanding of human compassion, let's say, or at least acting like it. He puts on a good performance, we'll say. Like, he puts on a better performance of that than George does, and George is human.
Zach, I'm hungry, but I can't do much about that at the moment. Thomas is certainly a great cook. It's a shame to keep his cooking hidden out here in the countryside. Don't you think so, Zach?
Ugh.
Which reminds me, there's another great cook in town. To fall in love with her would mean that I would need to love her cooking, too. Why does God test us so, I wonder? That coffee she made. Man, did that pack a punch. I wish you could have tasted it, Zach.
For a second, I forgot what that gasp sound was. The memory of Emily cooking is what that was. I forgot that she would appear in the room. Happy Thanksgiving, supposedly. I mean, it's not really brought up in the game, but I guess it is. Yes, Deputy Willie.
It's only a hunch now, but I don't think Nick killed Diane.
What do you mean?
Me and Diane, we were, pretty close. I'm sure some people might have moral issues about it all, but I'd like to think that I knew her pretty well. Every time we finished talking, she'd bring up art. I'd make a face, boring. And she'd always say, "You're so different from Nick. He's so much more intelligent."
Sounds like something she'd say.
Nick was one of the few people who she could talk to, And vice versa for Nick, I suppose. Diane also told me that she was best friends with Nick. He'd have nothing at all to gain by killing her. I can't believe that one would try to kill the other. I just can't.
But even the best of friends can end up in the worst fights.
Still, the voices and footsteps I heard that night, they were something else. Much more violent, more horrifying. Diane's voice sounded different, too. Different. Hard to explain. Of course, I couldn't make out what she was saying.
You told York all this?
Of course I did.
What did he say?
I know, that's fine. Something like that. Let's go then, and catch Diane's killer.
Well, of course, Kaysen does have a pretty good idea that Nick was not the killer. Alfred's General Store. We never meet this Alfred, who supposedly runs a general store, yet we can never go in the store. That sounds suspicious. Maybe it's something that York should have investigated.
Zach, about Emily. Don't you feel almost nostalgic looking at her? I don't think I've ever felt that way looking at a woman before. No, I'm wrong. It's a long time ago now, though. Do you remember that incident, Zach? Anyways, I was very surprised when she came to my hotel room. Not in a funny way, don't get me wrong. It was really exciting, though. I thought I heard my heart thumping inside, It's inappropriate during an investigation. Right, Zach?
Well, I don't know if Yorks really spent that much concern on what is and what is not appropriate during an investigation. You might also say that driving around town searching for playing cards might also be inappropriate during an investigation, but that's certainly something we have done. Or going to the late-night weapons store to trade those trading cards in for clothes and weapons. Things we can do. Or doing part-time work for a convenience store in exchange for their discount card. Or technically stealing the guitar from Keith. No, he's right over here, Kaysen.
Hey, where are you going? Deputy Willie, he's over here.
He's not.
Come on, hurry.
No, he's right here. He's right next to me. I mean, even though Lily did give us the key to the closet, technically it is Keith's guitar, and he did not want it to be taken. So during this investigation, we did technically steal that guitar from Keith to use it to bash over the heads of ghosts? Zombie ghosts? No, Kaysen, please.
Hey, where are you going? Deputy Willie, he's over here. Come on, hurry.
Kaysen, I can see where he is. Alright, so I guess now Willie has the final scent, because now he's taken us up to the clock tower, which is a bit of a run. It's pretty separated from the rest of the town. There's only one road that goes up to it. It's a pretty far distance. And the fact there's only one road that goes to it was the reason. Nope, Kaysen, come on.
Hey, where are you going?
He's not over there.
Over here. Come on, hurry.
You need to hurry. The fact that there's only one entrance or exit to the town center was the reason that I was able to do that traffic jam thing in the original LP. Because it's the only part in the game where the entire town drives into one area.
The Ingrams?
No, I mean, well, I always say hi when I see them at their store.
Don't you think they make a wonderful family?
I guess so. Including Jim, I suppose they do.
Indeed they do. The ideal family, I'd say. You know that I look after Isaac and Isaiah pretty often, right? They talk a lot when I take them out. Yesterday, Mama and Papa, and this morning, Grandpa, always about their family. Just listening to them makes me feel so happy. I don't have any brothers, you know. Maybe I'm a little jealous of those two. That's why when I come here, I always pay them a visit. Greenvale is really like a second home to me.
I can tell.
Deputy Willie's calling again. Enough about me. Let's get going.
For some reason in the darkness, I see Emily's face. When I first met her on the bridge, she looked so dignified. And that glimmer in her eyes when she argues every word I say. Her blonde hair lit by the dawn. Eating steak at the diner. Giving me directions in the car. The horror on her face in the gallery. And that coffee she made. And it's like she's a goddess in a tight dress. Zach, let's pray that she doesn't become a real goddess.
I like those little graphic glitches as she fades in and out. It's not quite displaying correctly. It's starting to rain. Kaysen bringing up his relationship with the Ingrams, bringing up something, one of the lingering questions of the game is, why does he have all these relationships with all these different people in the town? Like the Ingrams taking out the kids on walks often, his relationship with Polly. Once you find out what Kaysen really is, it's all kind of odd. And of course, we do know Polly does have one of those red saplings in her greenhouse. No, Kaysen, come on now.
Hey, where are you going? Deputy Willie, he's over here. Come on, hurry.
The Greenville Sheriff's Department really does need to ask York about those special FBI brand magic ponchos. Where do they get those? Those seem very useful, especially in a town like Greenvale, where it can start raining very heavily out of nowhere.
Willie, York is nearby?
Good job, Willie. Can we stop running now, please?
No, we cannot, because we still have to run the rest of the way to the clock tower.
Hey, so we took the long route here. You weren't playing with us, were you?
George, we've found out where York is. George? George! Kaysen, I'm going in alone.
Hey, you didn't forget what George said.
No, I haven't. And that's why you get to stay out here and keep trying to contact him. I'm just going to check things out. I'll stay out of danger. Trust me.
Okay, if you say so. I'll take care of this here.
Freeze! Stop right there! Stop! What the hell?
This is a cool little moment here. The first time that that someone else besides York actually sees a shadow.
York, Emily is here. Time to say goodbye then.
Thomas, let me tell you one more time. It's not too late. I can help you. Just untie me and let me go. If you don't, the situation will be irreversible, unfixable.
York, no situation is reversible. Didn't you know that?
Everyone, everything proceeds along a path preordained by fate. Goodbye then. I wonder who'll be the next person to open this door. Well, whoever that person is will be the one to decide your fate.
Zach, what was I supposed to say? All I can do now is wait.
So I'm not sure in that scene is that Thomas giving York a chance, since the plan would probably be for Thomas to kill York and then to kill Emily when Emily makes it up the stairs. But Thomas says that whoever the next person is to open the door will be the one to determine York's fate. Which means that Thomas is going to fight Emily, but Thomas is not really sure, maybe, who the winner of that is going to be. So maybe one last chance for York in the case that maybe Emily wins. Oh, gotta get it off. Now, that doesn't match up quite right. Sir, please. Please, sir. There we go. Nope, sir. Okay, nope. Sir. Okay. Getting caught on that invisible shadow. Just wouldn't let me by. One final little save area, I suppose. Yeah, first aid kit. Got a save area if you want it. Got a bed. You want to take a nap right here? Sure. Go ahead. Why not? Oh, and this is a respawn point for first aid kits medium. If you want infinite first aid kits.
You sure took your time.
Thomas, you've got nowhere to run now. Just surrender yourself.
Emily, I've been waiting for you.
Where's York? Is he okay?
He's quite the handsome one, isn't he? I liked him the moment I saw him. He likes someone else, of course. Who do you think that is?
I'm asking you if he is okay. Answer me.
Oh, yes. He is handsome. But me and Carol, we love not him, but a different person. My lovely G.
Cut the crap. Do you know what you're doing?
Why, yes, I do. All too well. Far better than you do, I think. You know nothing about yourself, nor this town.
Please don't make me shoot you.
You're a silly, sad little woman. We're heading for devastation. All of us. And no one can stop it.
Oh, Thomas. You're sick. But there's still time. We can get you help. I'll help you.
You're too kind, Emily. As kind as a goddess. That's why he likes you. This town is soiled, and only you are shining in it.
That's right, Thomas. Let's just leave here together.
It was so much better back then. We had so much fun. Emily, that was before you came. I won't let you have him! You filthy pig!
Alright, time for our boss fight. Just need to remember how this goes. I guess just like this.
You won't have it your way. I won't let you take him. I'll show you how serious I am. I'll turn you into hamburger meat.
Oh, right, QTEs.
good! This is good! Eat this. You're gonna die, Emily.
Where'd Thomas go? I don't.
That hurt.
Thomas, don't make me shoot again. Surrender and turn yourself in.
Emily. Emily,
Thomas.
I'm sorry. I'm so sorry.
That's enough, Thomas. Just come over here.
Emily, Emily, I just... I hate you so much. Die, you skanky swine!
You thinking what? Get away! Get away from me!
Get off!
Thomas!
Oh! Is that Thomas hanging there? Oh my god. He looks like a strung up turkey.
Zach, was that a gunshot? I hope nothing terrible has happened. Hey, Willie. Are you here with your owner?
Willie is a very good dog, or at least that is what we think at the moment. Though, of course, we do know that there is more to Willie than meets the eye. Well, let's go down to meet Emily and Kaysen, and yep, after Thomas gets it super hard.
Hey!
York, are you okay?
I'm fine. Got to spend some quality time with Zach. I heard gunshots. Did you get our man?
York, Thomas is dead. I shot him. He tried to kill me.
Thomas. I suppose that this is the fate you talked about. But Emily, what about the murderer?
I just told you I had to shoot Thomas.
Thomas's actions may have surprised you, I understand that. But our job is to catch the killer, isn't it? You didn't let the killer get away.
York, are you saying that Thomas was not responsible for the murders?
What? That makes no sense.
Emily, are you out of your mind? Thomas was certainly neck deep in this. But he didn't kill the girls. He has concrete alibis for all 3 murders. He also doesn't have the reverse peace symbol on his back. These are basic facts that for sure you haven't forgotten.
Then who?
I need you to be strong, Emily. If Thomas is not the killer, then there is only one other possibility. The only one with free access to the department files, and doesn't have an alibi at the time of the killings. Love G himself.
George? George is the killer? And since when did you start thinking this?
I wasn't sure to start with, but you saw the pictures, right? In that secret room in Carol's bar. That was when I became 100% positive.
But George didn't have the tattoo on his back.
Ah, right. He doesn't have a tattoo on his back, but there is a pattern there.
What do you mean?
Emily, I'm not saying that the pattern was the tattoo. Remember what Harry said. There isn't a single thing that can maintain its shape for eternity. And George's back is a perfect example.
Hey, you two! Could you explain this so I can understand what's going on?
Emily, come in.
Emily here. I've rescued Agent York from the clock tower.
Thomas is dead. I was forced to shoot him.
I see. And you two are both all right?
York is a little weak, but we're heading back to the department now.
Okay, I'll do the same.
Emily, George is a friend of yours, isn't he?
Yes.
Then what we are about to do is going to be tough to deal with. Are you willing to go through with this?
York, I'm deputy sheriff. This might be a small town, but I take pride in that. It's my duty to make sure that we catch all the bad guys in Greenvale. Even if it means facing an end that I would never have hoped for.
Okay, then let's get moving. This case is going to end at the sheriff's department.
This is madness! Willie, come on, let's go with him. Chickening out now would be like leaving after eating the appetizers.
And that's the end of that chapter. So York's back, Thomas is dead, and at this point, York has finally said, yeah, George is the killer. You probably should have figured that out previously, but yeah, here's York to confirm it for you. So yeah, throughout, I think most people who play the game would have worked this out beforehand before you get to York's announcement. Because I don't really think many people who play the game buy into the whole Thomas is the killer thing. It seems like it kind of comes out of nowhere. And even though, well, you're fighting him during this scene, I still think that people who've played the game, most of them are thinking that it was still George and Thomas is some kind of red herring. But here is York to confirm that for us, even though, of course, York does not know everything himself, though he thinks he does. Previously, before we had the fight with Thomas, Emily spoke with George on the radio and was all distorted and such. I was kind of wondering, is that George in the middle of doing some red seeds to Carol? Since next time when we go back to the sheriff's department, we're going to find that things have not gone well for Carol. So I wonder if that's already happened, or was George in the middle of doing that when Emily called him up on the radio? Well, I'm not sure about that, but what I am sure about is that we're going to save, and next time we're heading to the sheriff's department to well, it's not going to be the showdown, because we first have to go through the sheriff's department and we're going to have to find what happened to Carol. I believe that comes first, before the big showdown. So, next time, we're going to the sheriff's department and we're going to see what George has done with the place. I'll see you for that next time with Deadly Premonition.